Today we going to look at the role Protestants played in the history of Ethiopia. This counterfeit Christianity was pregnant with malicious ideas. Many of these serpents were from Sweden and Germany. These pastors did not come to learn Christianity but to inject Ethiopians with their poison, which they called Protestantism. The Emperor Menelik II rightfully banned Protestants missionaries from entering Ethiopia in 1842. However, after his death in 1912, Zewde came to power, and shortly after came the Emperor Haile Selassie. Due to his affiliation with the Queen of England and the war with Italy, the ban on Protestants was lifted. These children of serpents did not waste any time to continue their evil intents in Ethiopia. As the German Johann Kraft had written in his book, "Give us the Gallas and Africa is ours." After the ban against the Protestants was lifted, these Swedish Protestant missionary established a printing company in Asmara, Eritrea. It is from there that they proceeded to rewrite Ethiopian history with the hope that it would give them political power someday. Perhaps in the near future this printing establishment would enable them to remove the Amhara emperor and replace him with a Gala prime minister. This is not an exaggeration on my part but a fact when one reads their literatures. A certain pastor by the name Johannes Kolmaden was sent to Ethiopia to conduct this malicious intent. He went on to publish a book written in Eritrean dialect about the history of Hamasane people of Eritrea. In that book, he began to distort the history of Ethiopia by saying that, more exactly, the Gallas and the Somalis would be descendants of the slave of Rachel, and the Bereas, with the people of Ualkate, would be descendants of the slave of Leah. This Johannes Kolmaden makes sure that he does not name all the 12 tribes of Israel properly. He adds names like Minab and replaces Joseph with Moshe on purpose. Johannes Kolmaden then presents his falsified history as a result of a research he had conducted in Eritrea. 9. Genealogy of the men of Hamasane. Here is what we learned, in response to our questions, from the elders and the P56 people well informed about the genealogy of Hamasane men. The visit of the Queen Sheba to the King of Kings Solomon. The good Lord, having caused everything he had created to perish in the flood, had spared an elect, named Noah, with his 3 sons, Shem, Ham and Japheth, lest the lineage be broken. Later, Noah, the father of the 3, gave an inheritance to Shem the Getzi, the whole land of T55 he east, and to Japheth all the land that extended from there to the west. As for Ham, installed him here, where we are. For Jerusalem, which was in the middle of the 3, he decided that the chosen one of them should have it as an inheritance. Then a certain Abraham, son of Ter, of the descendants of Shem, was elected and inherited Jerusalem. He fathered Isaac and Asmael. Isaac begot Jacob, Jacob begot Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Moshe, Minab and 6 other sons, the ancestors of all the 12 tribes of Israel. After the time the serpent reigned over the people of that land. Now the saints came and killed the serpent, the ruler of this people. Then Makeda, the queen of Azeb, transported with fury, killed the saints. Then their curse struck her, and one of her feet was like a donkey hoof. And since she wanted to get married, she was very upset about this foot that she had. Later she learned that one named Solomon, son of the King of Kings, David, had become king in Jerusalem. If you went to see him, they told her, you would be cured by putting your foot on the threshold of his house. This is why the queen of Azeb went to the King of Kings, Solomon. So, as we had told her, her foot healed, when she entered through the door of the King of Kings Solomon. King Solomon welcomed her in a magnificent way and had a sauce served, which burned his throat. Then he said to him, I will not touch what is yours, and neither will you touch what is mine. Having said this, he went to bed. Now King Solomon, when he went to bed, had his eyes opened, when sleep prevailed, and closed, when he was awake. When Solomon had closed his eyes, Her Majesty Queen Makeda, having her throat burned by the sauce, went to draw water to drink, believing that he had fallen asleep. Seeing this, he came to grab her. So the queen said to him, Say, leave me for the moment, it's that I want to drink. After that, you will do your will. Greater than in this way the queen of Azeb was pregnant with the King of Kings Solomon. After spending some time there, she returned to her country. So when she had come to the river which lies between Adikantsi and Uoki-Deba, the day of her delivery arrived, and she gave birth to Menelik, at the place called Ajat Bela. The midwives, asking for water for the lotions, shouted in great haste, Quick, bring some water. Bring water. My Bella. From this moment this river is called My Bella until now. March of Menelik in Ethiopia. When Menelik was grown up, the children insulted him by naming, son of a woman. So he asked his mother saying, Say, mother, whose son am I? Who is my father? His mother said to him, Go away. Your father is in Jerusalem, he is the king of kings, Solomon. So Menelik went to see his father in Jerusalem. The king of kings Solomon received him with great honors and made him king, saying to him, Go and govern your mother's country. And he gave him some children of Reuben as companions, some children of Simeon, some children of Mosf, some children of Minab, some children also of Judah, of his own brothers, and some children of Levi to serve as his clergy. For guide him in his walk, he also gave him a holy ark, that is to say the ark of Saint Michael. But the children of Levi, who knew the interior and the secret chambers of the temple, left there the arch of Saint Michael and carried away, while leaving, the arch of Notre Dame. When they had said goodbye and they were set in motion, King Solomon immediately understood that on leaving they had taken Zion away. Accordingly he pursued them on horseback with his army, to overtake them. So as the sea did this which she had done of old for Israel, Menelik and his people passed through the sea. When the king of Solomon kings came to see, he dared not follow them, because he remembered the fate of Pharaoh. But Menelik and his people came to this country. So the children of Judah went to Shoa with the royal family. However, a brother of Menelik, named Zagwa, son of the king of kings, Solomon and a servant of the queen of Ezeb, stopped at Lasta. Most of the children of Levi went to Temben, but a few followed Menelik to Chua. The children of Simeon went to Seloah and the children of Reuben to Quara. The children of Moses settled in Agameh and the children of Minab in Dembia. So they occupied this country and encamped here. Then, always continuing in the same way, they spread successively throughout the country of Ethiopia. There are those who maintain that there are in this country besides the 6 tribes enumerated from the descendants of 4 other sons of Jacob, who are called Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher. More exactly, the Galas and the Somalis would be descendants of the slave of Rachel, and the Bereas, with the people of Ulkate, would be descendants of the slave of Leah. How this country received the name of Hamasane. First of all, when our ancestors, the sons of Esrael, came to this country, the Mohammedans had settled there. One day, a part of ours, having met men in the fields, the plundered. When they asked them, Where are you from? Come on, say it. They replied, From the mother-in-law of Hossein Hamid Hezin. Those of us who had gone on the raid, having returned to their quarters, said to their comrades, These men, when we asked them where they had come from, said, Of Hamasane. Obviously, the name of this land, which is in front of us, is Hamasane. This is why this country received the name of Hamasane. However, there are also those who argue that Hamasane is the name of a great man. First inhabitants of Hamasane. The people who first inhabited this land of Hamasane, among the children of Ham, are called Dinah and Phanah. This name of Dinah and Phanah is properly the name of a man and a woman, but later their children and their grandchildren, finally all their posterity, were called of this same name of Dinah and Phanah. They were very rich, to build and plaster they used gold, even for their homes. And all wild beasts, including the elephant, were subject to them. But finally another people, called Soba and Noba, came to exterminate even that people. Next it was said thus, Alas, what an ephemeral world, which couldn't even last for Dinah and Phanah. The names Soba and Noba also, although they formed many peoples, are known by the name of their father and mother. These again, another people came to expel them from this country. Because of this, nowadays, except their name, there are no more trace of them in this country. But there are those who say thus, if one travels quickly for 2 months towards the south and for 3 weeks towards the west, one will find them. Also, to this day, meeting an elderly man, we call him greater than contemporary of the Soba Noba. As for the peoples who immigrated after these, the name of their father is Balau, and the name of their mother is Chalau. This is why they are called Balau and Chalau until now. By their origin, like all the people who lived here before them, they too are children of Ham. However, there are others who say, no, they are Mohammedans, of the descendants of Asmael. In their time, these Balau Chalau were also powerful, but later, their hour having come, God exterminated them. Those who came after them are the peoples who are there now, of the descendants of Jacob, who immigrated to Ethiopia with King Menelik I, of the sons of Reuben, of Simeon, of Levi, of Judah, of Joseph and of Minab. So there are descendants of all six in Hamison. Les enfants de Minab, les decatessem et leurs frères, qui devin rent dans ces pays les plus nombreux et les plus puissants. Immigration of Minab's children to Hamison. From the ancestors of the Decatessem, it was the king of kings Marin, who came first to this country. After leaving the desert of Endisaese, he came to settle in Jesk-Nassam. Then this country was only a black jungle, abounding in trees and animals, in waters and in marsh. Moroni, residing in Geshenassam, reigned over the country. This one was the father of Faluk, Maluk and Sealuk. When the three sons were grown, Maluk left his brothers and went to the country Dakilguzai. Faluk also left Jesk-Nassam and went to settle in Ametsi. But the youngest, Sealuk, stayed with his father. Faluk, residing in Ametsi, fathered his 6 sons there. Here are their names: Dambezanoi, father of Zanoi, Uord Merit, Techest Baron, Simertsum and Simerdub. As for the 6th, his name and posterity are lost, and he has no descendants. Of the 5 others, it is Dambezanoi who engendered the Decatessem and the Bayaushgede. Uord Merit procreated the Adi Hannes, and Techest Baron procreated the children of Neaman. Simertsum begat the Adikalam and the Deki Zeru, and Simerdub is the ancestor of all the children of Toshe. Sealuk procreated the Jesknassam. Genealogy of Moroni. Before coming here, Moroni had lived with his father Gwaluk in the Minamer desert, in the plain called Tekale. This is also where he was born. As for Gwaluk, we do not know the